Kyle Balitz and my brother over there were identical twins. His name is Travis Balitz. This is a little bit more about us. This is when we were babies. My brother was named Mono Park, and mine was Cheon Ho Park. Again, like I said, we're identical twins. We were born January 12th, 1987. The place of birth, we were born in Korea, was Do. And we arrived to the States July 9th, 1987. Currently, we're 32 years old, and right now we currently live in Hastings. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my adopted family. My dad's on the left, his name is Jim Balitz. My mom over there on the right, her name is Donna. And then that's my sister, who's not related to us, but a biological daughter of my mom and dad. And our parents are currently divorced, but we still are pretty close. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the adoption process according to my mom. I had a pretty good chat with her yesterday. So the process, the very first step of adoption was, so the reason why we were adopted was our mom and dad married in October 13, 1967. They ended up building this big 3-story house. It took about 2.5 years to build. And the reason why they wanted to adopt was because they could not have children, which maybe 2 years later, when my sister was born, that was pretty lucky there. But they ended up having my brother and I in 1987, my sister in 1989. So the second step was, since they wanted to know they wanted to adopt, they had to fill out an application, and that's at the Children's Home Society, which is an adoption agency here in Minnesota. They had to actually attend classes and learn about the Korean culture and the adoption process as well. The interesting part that my mom told me yesterday is that they also even had to write an essay describing of why they wanted to adopt and what they learned in the classes, including the Korean culture. Through these steps, my family actually had to also meet a social worker several times to discuss adoption. And this also included a house inspection to make sure my parents were deemed fit to be parents, and also if they had a good home to be adopted in. So eventually my parents end up getting approved to adopt kids. The letter on the left side is just an example of a personal letter that's written to my parents, describing that they've been accepted to for adoption. So the whole step after that was, who will the adopted babies be? And the Children's Home Society said that they did have a child to adopt, but the interesting thing about that is that they never told them that we were actually twins. According to my mom, it could have been possibility is if they did say they were twins, that might have prevented us from getting adopted, so they kind of wanted to have a good story. So eventually, the Children's Home Society asked, is it okay if you guys adopt twins? And my parents ended up saying yes. And through this period is when they had a whole bunch of detailed records upon us. Some were not true and some weren't. That on the left, the picture on the left is our foster parents. And the letter on the right is a Korean letter health record written in Korean. And right here is more of a personal record explaining our parents' situation in Korea. And the translation mainly states that our mom possibly may have a mental disability due to being in a car or a train incident that kind of left her unfit to be a mother. Currently they had 3 daughters too, and the dad was away in Saudi Arabia working, so it turns out in the story is that both parents could not take care of us along with 3 half-sisters, so they decided to adopt us off. And these are an example of the health records of from the Eastern Welfare Society, which is found in Korea. It describes a little bit about what I explained earlier. And these are more records, including the health records, our blood type, our health issues. I currently was actually had pneumonia, so they explained that as well. So eventually, they were given the details of who we are, but now it's just anticipation of when we're going to come to the States. My mom told me it was not really planned, like set in stone, because they were actually only given a 2-day notice before we actually came here. So to go to the actual airport, and eventually is when we arrived. We arrived July 9th, 1987, and I have a little video, and that's my grandma, my dad's mom, and that's my dad in the middle, and that's my mom's mom on the left side, and my mom's sitting right there in the back. And this is the plane where we actually arrived from. And they had to get escorts already for this from Korea to bring us over here, along with getting establishing flight tickets, which could be a reason why it was slightly disorganized when we came in such short notice. Yep, so that's us arriving. The Korean escorts ended up giving us to our mom and dad. And this was in the Minneapolis. So I believe the flight was, they flew from Seoul to Japan, Tokyo, Japan, and they ended up flying to Seattle. And then through that, they went to Seattle to Minneapolis. Yep, and then our parents are bringing us to meet our relatives, including my parents' parents and my dad's sister, and also my dad's close friends. And there's quite a few strangers that kind of approached us, so we're kind of the stars of the day, I would say. We were actually 6 months old years ago. That's a pretty long video, so we'll cut right there for now. So this is the actual an example of more records. We actually had records of us coming to the States. It's called a pre-flight report. This includes like our personality. One of them, which I found interesting, was that I actually was speaking mom, which is uma in Korean, from which I read. And mainly we were, throughout the flight, we were pretty well-mannered. And then this right here is actually the sign form, the release form, basically, of us being adopted. And we also had our own health records, which includes my brother and I, a small packet. So this comes the more legal part. So our parents were not allowed to finalize the adoption until 6 months, so they actually had to wait. We came here July 9th, so they had to wait till December 9th for us to actually be officially adopted and shown to the judge. And that on the right side is actually the letter explaining that being invited to the courthouse for us to get our adoption finalized in front of a judge. Yep, so eventually December was the court day. Right there on the right side is the actual official form of us stating that we're actually now officially adopted in the United States, and that also includes like another letter that includes like the prices and stuff. And this also included the birth certificate, or United States birth certificate. And this comes to another question for some Korean adoptees. Some are actually having issues with this. Is about American citizenship. And the issue with that is some Korean adoptees did not actually receive their American citizenship. We were actually lucky. One, our parents were well informed, so they knew what was going on. And secondly, the judge actually told them that on that same day where we actually became, we actually received our birth certificate, we actually were told to, they were actually told to go downstairs and actually file for the birth certificate, which is shown on the next page. Yep. And I'm going to pass it off to my brother, who's actually going to explain that we had the luxury to meet our birth family last year.